the second part of our three-part training series. This presentation will focus on invasive species and plant identification. Native plants have many benefits. They promote biodiversity, provide habitat for wildlife, and are a good and nutritious food source for wildlife. Conversely, invasive plant species cause decreases in biodiversity, food, and habitat for wildlife. The image on the right is of a milkweed, a native plant that is used by monarch butterflies for egg laying. The caterpillars that hatch from the eggs feed on the milkweed leaves and grow. However, the image on the right is of the invasive plant dog strangling vine, or DSV. Monarchs confuse DSV with milkweed, and if they lay their eggs on DSV, the caterpillars that hatch will starve because they are not able to digest the leaves. This is just one example of how invasive species can harm native biodiversity. Invasive plant species are those that do not naturally occur in a region. They are introduced from other areas and are characterized by their ability to take over an invaded area by outcompeting native plants and wildlife. They can do this because there are no natural population control mechanisms, such as predators, like there are for native species. The image on the left shows a patch of garlic mustard in Tecumseh Park in Mississauga before the invasive plants have been removed. As you can see, the garlic mustard has completely overtaken the area and there is no room for native species to grow. The image on the right shows the same area after the garlic mustard has been removed. You can see that there are native fern and flower species present that now have room to grow. Invasive species have many negative impacts. They can decrease biodiversity and alter environments, cause species to go locally extinct, cause financial impacts, damage infrastructure, and create safety hazards. The tall plant in the image on the left is called Phragmites, and it is expensive to control and can grow in such dense stands that it can block safety equipment such as fire hydrants. The image on the right is of the invasive plant Japanese knotweed, and you can see that it can grow through concrete and destroy home foundations. That's where you come in. We have identified 6 target species for volunteer removal this year: garlic mustard, bindweed, burdock, English ivy, winter creeper, and periwinkle. Garlic mustard is a biennial plant, which means it completes its growth in 2 years. In its first year, it grows close to the ground as a basal rosette and has kidney-shaped leaves. We will not be pulling first-year plants. We are going to focus instead on pulling second-year plants, which produce flowering stalks and seed pods. These seed pods dry out in late June or early July. We would like you to focus on pulling second-year plants before they turn brown and drop their seeds. The goal is to deplete the garlic mustard seed bank in the area where the plants are growing. There are 3 key identifying features of second-year garlic mustard plants. Their leaves are deeply veined and wrinkled in appearance. When crushed, they smell like garlic. They have clustered flowers that are white and have 4 petals. They have long seed pods that look like string beans that are 2.5 to 6 centimeters long. There are many species that look similar to garlic mustard that you should be aware of so that you do not confuse them. The first are violets, which have more heart-shaped than kidney-shaped leaves. First-year garlic mustard plants do not have flowers, whereas violets produce white flowers with 5 petals instead of 4. Next, there is Dame's rocket, whose leaves do not have petioles. They are attached directly to the stem and have flowers that can be purple, pink, or white that come out in early summer. Conversely, garlic mustard flowers are only white and come out in early May. Finally, there is Creeping Charlie, which has square stems and rounded edges to the leaves, which is in contrast to garlic mustard, which has toothed leaves and hairy stems. Next, we can talk about how to remove garlic mustard. You grab the plant by the base, close to the ground, and pull. Try to remove the entire taproot and focus on removing flowering second-year plants. Now, please watch this short clip on how to remove garlic mustard.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm the science field technician here at T-Town Lake Reservation, and today we are here to talk about a notoriously invasive species that is found in your backyard, my backyard, and all throughout T-Town here. It's known as garlic mustard. So garlic mustard is a biennial. It leaves one year and it flowers in another. So it's important to know that this plant is going to look different later in the season and later on in its other stage. So this is early April. These plants are just starting to come up, and what you want to do with it is you want to grab it as low as you can pull it up to grab all the roots. Kind of get a little dirt off there. And be sure to bag it. If you leave it in the ground, it will come back and it will grow right in the same spot you removed it from. So it's important to remove this invasive species.
Now for burdock. The leaves of burdock are quite large. They are deeply veined and have a wrinkly appearance. The stalks are strong and have purple parallel lines near the base. The seed heads are called burrs and are green with purple interiors. When they dry out and turn brown, the seeds can spread. The burrs have bristles on them that easily stick to clothing and animal fur, which facilitates seed spread. Burdock is also a biennial plant. In its first year of growth, it grows as a basal rosette with large kidney-shaped leaves. It does not produce seed in the first year. In the second year, burdock grows tall, flowering stalks with burrs. The burrs dry out in late June and early July. We will focus on removing second-year plants to try to deplete the seed bank. There are two species that look similar to burdock that are common in Mississauga. The first is wild rhubarb, which has similar looking leaves but does not produce burrs that are distinctive to burdock. The second lookalike is bitter dock, which also has similar looking leaves but does not have burrs. Instead, it produces seeds along long stalks that are an orange-brown color. To remove burdock, we are only going to focus on removing the seed heads. Please clip the seed heads or burrs and put them immediately into a garbage bag. We are only focusing on second-year flowering stalks. Is bindweed. Bindweed is a climbing vine that reproduces vegetatively by its roots, rhizomes, and stem fragments, so it is important that all plant parts are bagged during removal. The leaves of bindweed are a distinctive triangular shape that resembles a shovel spade. The flowers are trumpet-shaped and can be pink or white. The vines twist around plants and other structures. We will be focusing on removing bindweed that is growing on recently planted trees and shrubs. To remove bindweed, break the vines close to the ground to disconnect them from the roots. Then carefully unravel the vines from the trees. Put all removed material into garbage bags. Now we have a short video on the impacts of bindweed. Please only watch the first 2 minutes.
This is my cottage garden, or at least that's what it's supposed to be. Currently, it's full of bindweed. It's really getting out of hand and started flowering, which means I need to get back on top of it so it doesn't set seed. You would think that everything about an aggressive weed like bindweed would be bad, and it certainly has bad qualities, which you can see here. So this morning, I cleared the section to the left around the pear tree, and this afternoon I want to get the rest of it cleared out too, because this is now a damage control situation. Bindweed grows really fast, winding itself around other plants to climb up and cover them with an attempt to strangle and smother them. In my case, it's even grown under this pavement, and it's now bursting up through it. Eventually, it will ruin this pavement by breaking it up if I'm not able to control it. What makes it so difficult to control is a combination of things. Bindweed is somehow both stretchy and brittle, so when you pull it by hand, it tends to break off, usually without much of the roots. And these creeping rootstocks are actually rhizomes. So they grow and spread horizontally underground and send shoots up to the surface all along these horizontal runs. On top of that, they can easily regrow. Any piece of rhizome left in the ground can sprout, and I've seen it happen with some very small pieces. On top of that, bindweed is an herbaceous perennial, hardy down to zone 3 or 4. So all the foliage and vines die back over the winter. But the network of rhizome roots sit and wait, holding on to all their gathered energy from the previous season. Once temperatures warm up, it starts regrowing above ground at an alarming rate in the spring. So all this adds up to a fast-growing, massive plant, which includes a huge network of roots with countless sprouts of foliage with the potential to set seed from its flowers, as well as propagate itself from broken roots if it's been dug up without care.
Finally, we will review ground covers. Ground covers are evergreen vines that cover the ground in dense carpets. Two of the species, English ivy and winter creeper, can also grow up trees. You can see in the image below how dense the ground cover patches can get. We will be focusing on removing 3 ground cover species, periwinkle, winter creeper, and English ivy. Periwinkle has the thinnest stems of the 3 species and has small leaves that are a solid green color. It produces purple flowers with 5 petals. Winter creeper has thicker, woodier stems that are a deeper green with a thin white line down the middle. The leaves have toothed edges. English ivy leaves have a distinct triangular shape, and the veins on the leaves are all white. The vine of English ivy is thick and woody. Please note the code in the top corner of the slide. To remove ground cover species, start on the edge of the patch and work your way inwards. We want to remove the leading edge to prevent the patch from spreading. Focus on removing all the root fragments and vines and bagging all plant material, as the plants can grow back from any fragments left behind. The photo is the before and after of a ground cover removal at Sawmill Valley Trail. To know where you can go and remove species, you will be sent this link to a Google Maps map. You can zoom into the park you want to work in and remove plants in any of the identified polygons. If you click on the polygon, it will tell you which species is present there for you to remove. Some polygons will have additional notes on the site that we encourage you to follow. The image shows the polygons identified for you to work at Cawthra Woods. The different colored polygons represent the different species you can remove. Please remove the correct species at the correct time of year. Garlic mustard and burdock in the spring, and then bindweed and ground covers later in the summer. Now for some best practices to follow when volunteering. Please work on isolated plants first, then move to smaller patches. Please save the larger patches for last. We do this to prevent larger patches from establishing from isolated plants. Next, please finish a polygon before moving on to another one. Finally, please try to complete all polygons in a park before moving on to another park in your district. When disposing of the removed plant material, please put the material into garbage bags provided to you. Do not compost the material, as it will spread seeds. Instead, place your filled and tied off garbage bags next to city garbage cans in the park that you're working in. If you are only leaving 1 or 2 bags, you don't need to do anything else. If you are leaving a large number of bags for collection, please email me so that I can arrange for a special garbage pickup the next day. We would also like to see your progress. If you can, please take before and after photos of the areas that you're working in. Please try to stand in the same spot when you take the photos so that we can have the best comparison. All photos should be sent to me at invasiveplants@mississauga.ca. Thank you for watching part 2 of 3 of our training webinars. Please make sure to upload the code for this video on Better Impact. If you have any questions, please email me at invasiveplants@mississauga.ca. If there is an emergency in the field, please call emergency services. Thank you for your commitment to stewarding Mississauga's natural areas.